Hello, I'm Ginger Chang. Welcome to USTC360. It's great to have you with us again. Today is a special day for Americans because it marks the 10th anniversary of the September 11 terrorist attacks on the World Trade Towers and the Pentagon in 2001. Almost 3,000 people died in what was to be the deadliest attack on American soil since Pearl Harbor. On that day, New York City lost some of its finest and bravest heroes. Terrorism has since become one of the main issues in our country's national security and foreign policy. More importantly, the lives of American people from all walks of life of society, such as those who are or bore resemblances to people in the Arab, Muslim, Sikh, South Asian American communities, were changed forever that day. A total of 1,714 hate crimes have been reported to the Council on American-Islamic Relations nationwide since 9/11. However, among the violence and the suffering, we forget the one quality we all share as human beings: love. And one person who has been able to find love and forgiveness is Betty Guman.
I remember it was a very beautiful day. I just remember when that happened, how pretty the sky was.
I was at home sleeping, and my mother came over to the house and she was crying and she woke me up.
I was getting ready for work and it came across the TV.
No one would tell me why to turn on my TV or what was happening.
The first airplane had already hit the Trade Center, and we look up and we're all just in total shock. I remember having goosebumps. It just didn't seem real. And then the second plane hit, and I just kept thinking, what are they going to do? How are they going to put the fire out?
As an American, my heart goes out to all those families, and we're sorry for their pain.
For those people that died, for me, it's an inspiration for me to do whatever I can to contribute something positive to this society. My name is Betty Guman. I've been living in New York City for over 32 years now. I was a senior account analyst in the fashion industry for 22 years. I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress after 9/11. And I just feel I could not function when I discovered that a relative of mine, they could not find her.
The plane crashed right into the side of the World Trade Center, causing a huge explosion. Now, as we speak, and we're showing you live pictures now, smoke and fire taking place in both towers of the World Trade Center.
She was last seen by her boss, and he went down with the elevator and he made it out, but she never did. With her husband and other relatives of mine, you know, everybody was like band together, you know, in search. You were looking out and all you could see is all these mangled steels and smoke and people, you know, just like myself, looking for their relatives, looking for their loved ones, you know, looking for their children. You're thinking, oh, maybe if I look down this block, I may find her. If I go to a different neighborhood, then maybe she will be there. And it's like day after day, you are hoping, and you keep going, and you keep going, and you keep looking, and there's nothing there but grief and pain. It doesn't happen that way. Now we understand it doesn't. At the time, you don't. I still have certain fears, and I struggle to deal with them. I still have like vision, you know, sometimes if I see certain things, you know, you're watching images. Like those images are so haunting, you know, and you're like gasping, you know, like for air, you feel like you're choking. Whenever I see smoke, you know, somewhere, or I could see the fire truck, hear the sound of it, you know, it triggers something inside of you. It brings back all these memories, you know. It's very difficult sometimes to express, you know, how, you know, emotionally and physically you change, you know, with the trauma. Out of every negative thing, there's something positive that comes out of it. And I guess maybe if it wasn't for 9/11, I wouldn't be where I am today. I'd probably be still working, chasing after dollars in the fashion industry. I feel very fortunate. I have some very dedicated friends, you know, and a few family members that, you know, supported me. If you want to see the changes, be the change you want to see. My aspiration now is to go into social work. Presently, I'm a student at LaGuardia Community College. And I was also involved with volunteer work with Mount Sinai Sexual Assault and Violence Intervention Program as a volunteer advocate. I also signed up for volunteer work with refugees, UNICEF. By helping people, it have a tremendous, you know, impact in my life, honestly. I felt very passionate about that, doing that, and I think that's what inspired me also. It took 9/11 to make me understand that, you know, there's much more I could do with my life. This card was purchased in the day after 9/11, and I look at it on a daily basis as a reminder of the purpose of my life. And little by little, you're able to, you know, have that peace, you know, that understanding, the purpose of your life, you know, and that you will feel so driven to move forward. I still strongly believe that what America stands for. 9/11 had proved that the majority of people that I see here in New York City, you know, this multicultural society we live in, I think most of us have the same, you know, ideals. We share the same, you know, belief. I think that's what have the most profound impact on me.
The news of Osama bin Laden's death has been greeted with mixed reaction around the world. In the Muslim world, he is seen as a martyr for the militant groups who supported him. Yet in the US, the demise of America's public enemy #1 was responded by a spontaneous outpour of emotion for the generations who witnessed and have been living under the shadow of 9/11. A recent survey by the Pew's Global Attitudes Project found opinions regarding Muslim-Western relations have become slightly better 10 years after 9/11. President Obama mentioned in a national address that it is time for America to focus on nation building at home and plans to withdraw more than 33,000 troops from Afghanistan by the middle of 2012. Let's take a look at what the professors and students of Borough of Manhattan Community College have to say, because on the day of 9/11, they were on the school campus, which was located only 4 blocks away from the World Trade Center site.
My name is Shin Ke. I'm a BMCC graduate. Now, I'm a math teacher at the school. That day, I was at BMCC, not for class but for work. I arrived at the park in front of the school, and at the intersection of the park and the McDonald's, I saw a lot of people just standing there.
I met some of my classmates here. The professor was outside, and we still didn't know what was happening until the second building was hit. But we came back to school and they shut down the school and we had to leave.
We just started to help students and encourage them to try to get home instead of standing there looking and watching what was happening.
We lost 40 classrooms on the morning. We had 40 classrooms in operation at Fitterman Hall. When the 7 World Trade Center fell, it destroyed our building, which was Fitterman Hall. We had a second building there.
This building's even closer to the World Trade Center than St. Paul's Chapel. This building had become unsafe. Nobody could enter.
8 students and alumni that we lost in the Trade Center. We had students who used to study here that were working in the Trade Center on that morning. So they died.
It felt like a different place. The streets were empty. There was fires burning. You know, the fire burned a long time in the rubble of the towers. It was terrifying. It was really like an apocalyptic kind of moment.
A lot of my friends had to have therapy because they saw a lot of terrible things from the Fitterman Hall. Especially the ones who saw the towers collapse and people jumping off the buildings.
Some people were very traumatized, you know, including myself. I thought it was very sad to see, you know, we were right here to see people jump off, you know, the building, to see the building collapse, a place that we used to walk by every day, in the morning, in the evening.
I still feel a lot of powerful pain and emotion, so I generally don't really like to go over the details of the day, and I still can't look at pictures of the planes hitting and all that.
We had to build temporary classrooms so that we could open up on October 1st. So we were only closed for 3 weeks. So we were able to duplicate 40 classrooms, and that's why we have trailers on the West Street, on the highway. We brought in some trailers.
People didn't feel secure about their surroundings. But at that time, I had only one thought: to study hard.
We stayed open. We stayed open during the entire time here because the police and the army, they used this building for a command center. So we kept it open, we kept it clean. Because we have a cafeteria, it was perfect because they could feed themselves, they could store food. The gym allowed them to sleep people there. They treated people medically in the gym.
People did come together, people did lean on each other and help each other, but it was very, very hard.
I felt deeply the friendship, love, and caring among people. So I decided to volunteer at Lion Club to help those victims. That action facilitated my decision to choose a career as a professor at BMCC. Since then, most of the time, I have become more courageous and willing to take action because I had experienced this life and death situation and I'm well prepared mentally.
just rebuilding it now, and that's that brick building, the new building that's going up. 80 new classrooms and labs, so that'll be just on time. You know?
In this neighborhood, they always have gatherings for just the people who live in the neighborhood, and I find that helpful because we were so close to it, and we have a special, we sort of have a special bond about that, and I'm sure the families of the police and the firefighters, and I'm sure they have a special bond because they all went through a tragedy together. So I think being with the groups of people that sort of have a similar experience to you is a helpful way to mourn and move on.
It became as important for people as having family, as having a church, as having friends, because it's such a pivotal and such an important part of people's lives. Going to school, trying to get ahead, improve your life, improve your family's life. I think it was very important for people, and folks wanted to get back. They wanted to get back to normal, And I think going back to college, coming back to BNCC was important.
We should work on nonviolent and peaceful approaches to these problems, and I would like there to be more emphasis on peaceful ways of negotiating our differences with other cultures and with other countries, and that's where I believe that is the greatest place for growth in human beings. And then there are people in the world that live with this all the time. Like in the Middle East, in Iraq, and Israel, and lots of places, there are people that live with the threat of attacks and terror and famines and tribal warfare. I mean, there's a lot of crisis around the world. It's just part of the modern world today that bad things happen in many different ways, and that in some ways we're lucky in the U.S. that we've had such a good life, and that we hadn't had anything like this for a long time. So it is a different era now for us. We just have to be realistic and face it the best we can.
I am a Muslim, and this act is an act of terrorism. It's not an act of faith. It's a crime against humanity, and it's a crime against Islam. To overcome problems and to make the world a better place to live in, go visit other places. Don't just sit here and condemn others. I'm bringing my children here so that they can see how nice Americans are. Do the other way around too.
It's not forgotten that it happened, but they're building a memorial. It gives you that sense like you could still continue with life after this whole devastation.
And I hope things will be better in the future.
I think what I'm most proud of my country is our resiliency. I mean, even for myself, it really brought forth that sense of pride, and so I'm just very proud of our country.
I hope that America becomes much safer so that people can have a better life.
Stories like those of Betty and Professor Xinke are good indications that there is improvement and hope for Americans to move beyond the tragedies of 9/11. In Tzu Chi, there is a saying known as the Universal Three No's. In this world, there is no one I do not love, no one I do not trust, and no one I do not forgive. In our next segment, Footprints, we bring you the story of Dr. Hui Lu Lin. Dr. Lin has been many things. She was a dentist, the New York director of Tzu Chi's International Medical Association, and a devoted, assertive, and tenacious Tzu Chi volunteer. These characteristics are also the reason why she was the first Tzu Chi volunteer to enter Ground Zero with her doctor's badge, thereby paving the way for other Tzu Chi volunteers to join in the 9/11 relief efforts.
In joining Tzu Chi, I feel the best thing I did was grasping every opportunity. As long as there was an opportunity to volunteer for Tzu Chi, I would definitely pursue it without reservations. I believe I did well in grasping every opportunity and in seizing every moment. When I look back, I find that the length of my life is not so important as the depth and fulfillment of it. I have lived a very fulfilling life with so many wonderful experiences. For all these precious memories, I have Master Zheng Yan to thank. Because I seized every opportunity, I feel that I've lived a worthy and satisfying life.
I think that if she were present today, she would say, I hope that more Tzu Chi volunteers, doctors, and nurses would help out not only when there are medical activities, but take a step further to be involved long-term in volunteering in Tzu Chi's mission of charity, education, and culture.
She was a woman of many talents, but the one that stuck out the most to me was her ability to seem like she belonged anywhere and everywhere. I really miss her. I really miss her energy. I miss her capacity for love, and I'll always love her.
In Tzu Chi, my mother's name Lin Huiru is renowned, but at home, she only has one name, which is Mama.
We had some additional rescue workers on the second day.
Sadly, on May 26 at 9 p.m., Dr. Lin passed away after battling breast cancer in Hualien, the spiritual home for Tzu Chi volunteers. In her honor, New York Tzu Chi volunteers held a music concert to keep her memory alive. One of Dr. Lin's wishes was for all the team of doctors and nurses to continue carrying out the Master's selfless spirit through Tzu Chi's medical missions. Dr. Lin's final contribution to helping other lives was by donating her whole body to medical science research, and for that, she will be remembered as a hero of life. Please join us next week to see Tzu Chi's progress in the U.S. since 9/11. I'm Ginger Chang. Thank you for watching USTC360. I'll see you next week.